They say Saturdays are for the boys. Well, here on WCBS, Saturdays are for the toys. So, grab a bowl of cereal or your favorite edible, hit that thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe to WCBS for all of its world-class content, and without any further ado, let's get into the toy aisles. Here we are, starting today's journey at Ollie's. And it looks like there was a cage match here, WrestleMania 2 style. Well, they had a blue cage, but that's a red cage. Would you fight in a cage for the low prices at Ollie's? I know I wouldn't. But I'm here to look at some toys that haven't sold, like Pride Month Thomas and Kana. The hell is a Kana? What the hell is a Flip Pop? Pop-up collectible character and book. No, I'm good. So if I was into modeling, Ollie's would be the perfect place for me to be, but I'm not. I'm into toys that don't sell, that have never sold and never will sell. So I'm right at home, among the Disney Star Wars toys. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Nothing's changed. Just like this peg of Helena Shaw's, nothing's changed there either. See, other stores have given up, but this Ollie's is like the last man standing. There will always be a pile of unsellable Disney crap at this store, and it makes me feel nice and fuzzy on the inside. The Marvel Legends section is just as full as ever, which again makes me feel nice and fuzzy. I might get that checked out. I don't think a fuzzy inside is normal, but I digress. Speaking of normal or amoral, or anormal even, is this inordinate amount of Star Wars The Acolyte Holocom Connection action figures. I mean, look at them. There's I think you've just seen 40 of the same toy. I mean, look how deep they go. And they're $9.99 each. At 50 cents, you may sell a couple. At $9.99, you could build the foundation of the next Ollie's with this shit. Now, you guys have asked me on social media, Jeff, why don't you ever talk about the books that are at Ollie's? So, ask and you shall receive here on WCBS, and we get manga-inspired comic books. No thanks, I think I'll read the genuine artifact, but there are a lot of books here. We got Star Wars, The Ultimate Pop-Up Galaxy. Ultimately disappointing, but Alice Cooper at 75. That dude kicks ass at any age, so I'm a fan. What I'm not a fan of is Star Wars The High Republic. That's why they keep it on the bottom shelf here at Ollie's, underneath the car books and the Ripley's Believe It or Not books. Believe it or not, when I was in grade school, those books were considered quote-unquote educational, and we had them in many classrooms. So we could get away with reading in class by reading Ripley's Believe It or Not. You know, the teachers at my school did a pretty good job. Shout out to them. It was the early 2000s. Times were different. It was great to waste time on school dime, so thank you, ladies. So let's look at the graphic novels here. We got a lot of repetitive crap. Wonder Woman, Wakanda Forever on shelves, a lot of reflections of the toy aisle. Now you do get your occasional Batman, you get your Protectors of Wakanda. Great, I didn't know it needed more protecting. But you have a nice smattering of mostly DC books that haven't sold from the last couple of years. And this one caught my eye, Detective Comics, The Complete Cover Collection. So let's look through this little tiny book. It is little and tiny and a book, and we open up to the first appearance of Robin. Over here we have more tiny books. Look, this thing is really ridiculous for me to try to read, but let me at least give you an idea of its size. Here's a regular graphic novel, hardback edition, and here is the complete covers of Detective Comics. Tiny, but a cool novel concept. If only it was the size of a novel. So our journey takes us over to Walmart, where we can spark our collection if they had toys on the shelves. There are no WWE action figures in this store. I'm burying the lead. But look, there they are in the case, but they're nowhere to be found. What's over here, though? A pretty cool crossover. DC and Sonic the Hedgehog. For $19.97, you can get Batman and Shadow. And these figures don't suck. Surprising amount of articulation, the paint's nice, they come from Jakks Pacific. I used to love when they made wrestling toys. We have Superman and Knuckles. If that was a classic Superman, I would have bought that figure. I like the sculpt, I like the detail. but it needs trunks. Well, they're still trying to make Cyborg a thing, so partner on with Knuckles. Excuse me, Tails. I can't read. So who do we got down here? We have Green Lantern and Silver. I don't know Silver the Hedgehog. Do you? So on the other side, they had a lot of repeat stuff, bigger figures, but they also had Wonder Woman and Amy. I once dated a girl named Amy. She did not look like that at all, which is cool because I'm not into anthropomorphic animals. Now, over here, we have some 15 to 1997 action figures from the Fantastic Four, and nothing says success like full shelves, God, almost a year after the movie came out. This Walmart didn't have a ton of clearance, but it had a lot of quote-unquote sought-after action figures, like this vintage collection Avengers Quicksilver without running hands. But hey, he's got the green costume, but can't make him run. Cool. Way to go, Hasbro. Now, Hasbro's not all disappointment. They make cool shit like Snake Eyes and a polar bear. And this is why I don't collect G.I. Joe, folks. It's random stuff like this that catches my attention, and G.I. Joe has a lot of random stuff like this that would capture my attention and empty my wallet. Speaking of emptying my wallet, years ago, I bought this from Japan. I imported the Super Mario action figure from SH Figure Arts, and now it's available at Walmart, which is kind of interesting to me that we now have import toys at Walmart. The collecting market has changed, and, well, the hype for Mario is real. Now, hopefully, we start getting more Japanese import figures at affordable prices. That'd be great for the collection. Now, this is from the new Super Mario movie. It looks fine. You know, I really liked the last Super Mario movie. So we're going to take a minute to check out the other characters. We got Luigi, equal quality. I like the way they're printing the blue jean. We also have Princess Peach. She looks lost like a deer in headlights. Okay. Now, Mario and his motorcycle. Since he had a Mario Kart in the last one, now he's got a Mario cycle. Gotta sell a vehicle somehow, right? Formulaic to a T. Now, what do we got down here? Oh, these Mario figures. So, this looks pretty identical to the figure from the first film, which means I don't need to buy this ever, even at Ollie's. But, there we go. There's Mario from the film. And like I said a minute ago, a lot of the Mario toys showed up at Ollie's. So, you do what you want to do, folks. If you're excited, if you need to celebrate Super Mario Galaxy, the movie, like a lot of people do right now, hey, go for it. Me personally, if I see these toys for half price, maybe I'll bite then. But I will see the movie on opening day, so expect a short review here on the channel. But go see it for yourself. It's Super Mario, and the last one was really fun. And Yoshi's going to be the breakout star, even though Yoshi's been around forever. It's not new to me, but hey, good for the kids that are going to discover Yoshi. Now let's discover the toy aisle proper. We can see that Jurassic Park and Superman really haven't sold that well, to the point where Superman was on clearance at Ross Dress for Less, and he's at Walmart, so do with that information what you will. Now this is an Eternal at full price in 2026. Take a look at that. Marvel Sprite. You know, I bet you somebody brought an action figure from Ollie's, returned it for full price, and got away with something pretty sneaky. It's pretty sneaky. The Star Wars toys have a lot of the usual offenders, characters you don't care about, generic troopers, robots, things that I'm not buying. And speaking of not buying, this Power Ranger line has not sold very well. Folks, Playmates, the company that make that toy line, have not put out the Green Dragon Zord because there's no demand for a retailer exclusive. People aren't buying it. Now, speaking of demand, there was demand for wrestling figures because we walked right past them, and there are none. So I wasn't joking when I said there weren't any, but there's a Stranger Things figure. And what do we have here? The Street Fighter collection I swear I'll never get into. And I swear this was an accident. So here we are at another Ollie's. We can see that the walls are closing in on the collections. No, it's just the X-Men jet from X-Men 97 with Storm with a mohawk. And Ahsoka. And, well, a lot of the same crap. What do we got here? Killer Bunnies, The Ultimate Odyssey. Is that Star Trek bunnies? Okay. Cool. Cool. So there are the Eternals figures that were over at the Walmart that somebody totally didn't take back and get store credit for. What if Ollie starts doing that? They're just going to one by one take each little action figure or collectible back to Walmart and get store credit. That'd be illegal. But it should have been illegal to make all this crap in the first place. What a waste of resources, folks. We could have made doilies with all of the wasted resources that were turned into Disney Star Wars products. Now, we got brand names for less. We got teen fiction, which is where we stop because we, discuss pop culture on a 6th grade reading level. And well, it's only acceptable if you like this film if you're in the 6th grade. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the storybook for $1.99. Man, it was originally $9.99, and that was a waste. But look, this is the deluxe edition with the foil inlay and the hole where the characters are standing and fighting. Look at that, a fight for the generations. And somehow Palpatine returned as well. Fun Studio International? Bullshit International. That's what I say. So it looks like a lot of these are just photoshops of movie pictures, and I'm done. The movie sucked 5 years ago. Nothing else to say. Spot the Neil Adams artwork, and I will give you a cookie down in the comments below. Pause the screen to see if you can find it. I'll be very impressed. Or maybe not. You guys are world class out there in Radioland. Bible Origins, the underground story. It's like Fight Club and Jesus, but less cool. Let's take a look at the graphic novels one last time. And let's take it out of here, shall we? So we're flying in hot at RossCon, aka Ross Dress for Less. And well, we're flying in hot over the Island of Disappointment because the shelves are pretty barren. It's gonna look like there's a lot of stuff here, but there's very little value. Oh, wait, hold on a second. All right. We got a vintage collection Obi-Wan figure for a whopping $5. I'll bite. So we also have Masters of the Universe and Batman and Spider-Man and a BMW cop car. Yeah, there's something for everybody. What do we got down here? Speaking of something for everybody, folks, if you have kids who like The Mandalorian, go to Ross and buy them the old merchandise. It's the same stuff in an old box. They'll never know the difference. Tell them Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny got mixed up, and, well, you got this now. All right, Venomized Loki's pretty cool. But we got an Acolyte figure. Jedi Master Soul, no sticker, which means he's free, right? It's still too expensive. But the Acolyte toys are a reminder that I have literally something better to do at any point in the day than think about that show or even talk about it. Now, on the way out, they had impulse buys, but they also had Star Wars figures because nothing says, hey, buy me, like some clearance Star Wars figures featuring Osha and a Seiya. All right, well, I'll see you later because I'm not buying you ever. We got little guy, Dr. Aphra, Teen Wolf. One of these things is not like the other, and robot droid guy. All right, bye, Ross. So we're finishing up today at Target. That's what I say. Okay. Anyway, let's look at some wrestling figures, shall we? All right, I definitely stretched that out way too much, but let's check this out because this is actually really cool. Piper's Pit with the WrestleMania 1 main event right here. So all you need is Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, and well, he'll never make a Jimmy Snuka figure again, but $70 for those 3 deluxe or elite figures, and the play set's made of plastic. Look, if I had space for it, this would be something that I would definitely add to the collection. I'm a 3rd-generation wrestling fan. My dad was a Piper guy, so I definitely like to add some of that kind of stuff in the collection. Now, This is like the 19th Star Wars scale since Disney has taken over for the line, or Hasbro still makes the figures. You know what I mean. And look we have buff Star Wars figures again. Look at the calves on that Stormtrooper. They are squatting on the Death Star. But this thing's going to be squatting at Ollie's very soon next to the other unsellable piles of crap. And here we have Darth Vader to go along with your Stormtrooper. He's got biceps bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1980. No juice or cocaine needed to get that buff in a galaxy far, far away. But I digress. Now, I kind of want to buy this, but I don't need it. I don't have space for it. I don't even collect the Ninja Turtles, but there's something cool about this remastered set. The figures, like, well, they came out in 1988 when I was born, but there's just something cool about this box set. I love the art. I like the figures. I can't get these because I'll start buying Ninja Turtle vans and blimps and technodromes, and before you know it, I'll be a 37-year-old Ninja Turtle fan, and I wasn't even one at 7 years old, so I'm just going to say no. Now, this is for the Transformers fans. Folks, pause the screen if you want to see what's at this Target. But these looked really cool, these blind boxes. Then I realized they were from Super 7. They were $15, so I said no thank you. But if you could guarantee me an Optimus Prime, I might bite. I'm a sucker for that design. So we're taking a look at the DC figures. Mr. Terrific here for a while. But again, this Fantastic Four merchandising blitz months after the movie came out makes no sense to me. Yeah, you can give Mr. Fantastic his stretchy arm, but it's not going to sell the figure of Ted Cruz. Who the hell is that? Whatever. The figure looks more like Pedro Pascal. Maybe it's the facial hair. It was a whatever movie. Now, the Hypno Hustler is his name, and he is a legitimate superhero. He showed up in the 70s, if you can't tell. He's got disco eyes, an afro, bell-bottom boots, and he's in the Spider-Man line, along with the Owl and Cardiac. Two other great additions to the Spider-Man line, which I'm sure will be at Ollie's with other figures very soon. Look, I'll pay $10 for Cardiac. He was cool in the books for like 5 minutes. They didn't even come with that bird. That's a ripoff. Maybe I'm looking for the bird down here. What do I find? More G.I. Joe. Cool. Can't buy it. We got the Owl with an owl. How very on brand. I like it. And a Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home Andrew Garfield with the now accurate colors. We couldn't get it right the first 3 times, but the 4th time's right, we promise, pay more money. That's the Hasbro edict, right? I swear that's on the back of every box. Ah, Todd McFarlane Spider-Man in 3D. Looks cool. If I collected that, I would add that to the collection. Optimus Prime Armor He-Man. Crossover made in heaven. So let's get away from these Funko Pops because they're the absolute worst. We'll walk through the video game figures, through the aisle, and through the books because, folks, we're here to read every Diary of a Wimpy Kid book at Target. Now we're done. We're not reading for copyright reasons. Not because I can't read. We can't prove it. So the NECA figures love to hang out in the back. This is where the cool kids hang out, the cool collectibles, or the Stranger Things box set, or the Godzilla, or the 50th anniversary Han Solo Hoth figure. How old is this toy? What's going on with distribution? Yeah, the face sculpt looks good. Yeah, the sculpting's fine, but this is old. Like, where's the 2020? Why is this at Target? This is like old for Ollie's. You know, we made that video the other day about 57,333 Star Wars figures that date back to 2023. That dates back to 2020. And this dates back to 1996 because, folks, everything that is old is new again. When you go to your local Target, they have a whole section dedicated to Space Jam. I can't believe it. You know, I'm working on this video series about how I can't get away from my childhood. Every year, something gets dug up. And this year, it's Space Jam. Of course, we're going to celebrate the nostalgic love of Space Jam by releasing all new toys, including the Space Jam Space Ball, because you can't play basketball without the officially licensed ball or the officially licensed jersey. Okay, look, Space Jam's cool. It's great to see this stuff, but you get the point. You understand why I'm frustrated? This was cool 30 years ago. 30 freaking years ago, man. It never changes. Why can't, like, other stuff from older generations come back? I get it, the 90s were great. You had to be there. I feel like I never left, but all the good parts are gone. So, folks, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this journey through Ollie's yet again. Well, we went a little more than Ollie's. We had Ross Dress for Less, Target, Walmart, and a whole lot more. And if you want more, folks, all you gotta do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to World Class Bullshitters, and make sure you get involved in the community. We got a lot of great people in the chat. Over 205,000 people watch this channel. So, everybody that's watching, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. What did you see on the store shelves that you wanted to take home? And what do you think is destined for Ollie's? We'll find out in the future together what will be at that store. But until then, well, we'll see what else pops up first. But folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time with more. In the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other.